Hello and welcome to the exciting world of Midjourney. My name is Philipp Stelzel and I will guide you through this course. I have designed this course to provide you with the knowledge and skills you need to create impressive images with Midjourney. This course will help you to elevate your understanding of Midjourney and prompt creation. We will start with the basics, explaining terms like prompt engineering and prompts. Then I will show you how to connect Midjourney with Discord and use it privately so that you can start prompting. Later, I will show you how to create your first prompts, and then we will dive into prompt improvements so that you will be able to create exactly those results you have envisioned in your head. Because only when you can truly bring your ideas to life with Midjourney can you really start utilizing the tool and make the most out of Midjourney. So I will show you and you will learn how to incorporate the style of famous artists into your prompts, use camera perspectives and camera settings to copy the work of famous photographers, and of course you will also learn how to evoke specific moods with emotions. Of course you can watch this course passively, but that is likely not the most effective way to truly acquire new knowledge. So that's also the reason why I'm including some practical examples that you can try to use and try to apply so that acquiring the knowledge you will learn in that course becomes easier. This way you should be able to learn faster. You can also complete this course at your own pace and revisit the lessons whenever you have questions or need clarification. By the way, feel free to reach out to me at any time. Well, that's my introduction, so let's not delay any further and dive right into the first lesson. See you there. What is a prompt in Midjourney? Well, a prompt, that's a short text command you are using as a user when working with AI tools like Midjourney or ChatGPT. For example, we have here a short text, and if we enter it here in the Discord server, the Midjourney bot will interpret it and create an image out of that text command. In this example, we have a Japanese calligraphy with a Japanese sword. It's figurative simplicity in the Yaka art. And here you see the result. You see what Midjourney did with the prompt I have entered previously. But how exactly does this work? How can Midjourney interpret this text and generate images out of that text command? For doing so, the Midjourney bot is dividing the words and phrases in a prompt into smaller pieces that are known as tokens. And these tokens are then compared to the bot's training data and then used to create the image. So Midjourney is trained with some billions of pictures and images as training data. And then when you're entering a prompt, a text command, it tries to create the most probable, the most likely tokens for that command. So if you wish to improve the quality of your generated images, the first thing you should do is to improve the quality of your prompts to add more details that can be interpreted correctly by the Midjourney bots. So excluding words that are not necessary for the desired results and include words that help the Midjourney bot to understand what you want to have better. For example, you could start with including a certain style or art style, like we did here with Yaka art, which is a certain Japanese art style. We could also now add some colors we want to have in the image. We could make it a realistic photography or an oil painting or an impressionistic painting. You see there are thousands of options, and I will try to show you as many as possible in this course, but of course that will just be an example of all the possibilities you have. So with your prompts you are telling Midjourney what to generate, and the more detailed your prompts are, the better Midjourney knows what it should do. So the key is to be able to prompt correctly. In the end, when you're doing prompt engineering, you have to do a lot of trial and error. You have to try a lot of different prompt configurations to get to the best possible results. So now you have entered your first prompt, and Midjourney will now start generating 4 preview images. That's the so-called grid mode. Now you could either say, Midjourney, do another variation, or you could say, Midjourney, please upscale one of the 4 options here. You can do that by clicking on one of the 4 U's here on the bar, U1, U2, U3, U4, and the U is standing for upscaling of the image. If I wish to, for example, upscale the second image, this one here, I have to click on U2. I've already done that, and here's the upscaled result. In conclusion, or as a summary, it's important for you as a user to be really precise with your instructions, with the instructions you're giving to Midjourney. The more precise they are, the better your results will be. Additionally to text commands, there are also parameters you can use in Midjourney. For example, here we have the V5 or S500 or AR916, Chaos 9. Those are all parameters that give additional information to Midjourney. For example, V5, that's standing for the 5th version of Midjourney. But of course, you could also use older versions of Midjourney like V4 or 3. That could make sense sometimes because older versions are a little bit more creative in some ways. ER, that's the aspect ratio. So this parameter is simply telling Midjourney, as the name suggests, which aspect ratio to use. And Chaos, here it's Chaos 9, that's a parameter that tells Midjourney how creative or how unusual the results can be. The higher this number is, the more creative will be the output by Midjourney. With parameters, you can influence the quality, the creativity, the aspect ratio, and a lot of many more things in Midjourney. In a nutshell, this is what this video course will focus on most. So how to communicate more efficiently with Midjourney and how to use parameters in Midjourney to create even better results. This course will teach you a lot, but of course, in the end, you have to put all the knowledge into practice as well to become better at prompting. And you will not become a really good prompt engineer with just knowing the theory. No, you have to use Midjourney, you have to generate pictures, images on a daily basis to improve your skill set. Of course, I know that that's the issue. You should not do that alone without any instruction, and that's why I've created a course to make it easier for you to get into the prompt engineering in Midjourney, to help you to have an easier start with Midjourney and to not waste too much money in the beginning because you are exhausting your subscription by generating images that are not really convincing, that are not really that what you wanted to create. I hope with this course I have created the best possible instruction for newbies in Midjourney. So if you're ready, let's move to the next video lesson. What is prompt engineering? Well, that term refers to the art of creating precise and efficient prompts for AI tools like ChatGPT or Midjourney. A good prompt engineer should be able to create prompts that lead to reliable results in Midjourney or other AI tools. That's a skill that is needed more and more in today's world. You see, you can easily create stunning art in Midjourney, but it's more difficult to want to create in Midjourney. If you have a clear picture in mind and then create that picture with Midjourney. You know, the artist of the future might not be somebody who is wielding a brush, but maybe somebody who can translate creative ideas into prompts that result in the desired outputs. Okay, for most people, that might sound like something out of a science fiction or Black Mirror episode or something like that. But in reality, it's a job that's already paying money to a lot of people. Some use it to do prompt engineering for clients, to create customized images in Midjourney, and others upload their best prompts to platforms like PromptFlat or PromptBase or even Etsy to earn a passive income by selling prompts. And that's also one of the reasons why I have created this course, to help you become better in prompting. Either because you need prompting for your job, because you're a designer, an artist, or a content creator who needs to create images, or because you wish to find a way to earn passive income in the future. And as it looks at the moment, earning a passive income with Midjourney is definitely an option. What are the costs of Midjourney and which of the 3 available plans should you choose? As you probably know, there's a basis plan, then there's a standard plan, and third, there's a pro plan. In the following minutes, I'm going to show you what is included in those plans and which of them is best suited for you. As you know, for newbies, Midjourney is free. So as a newbie, you can use around 20 to 25 free pictures, but then you have to decide which plan to choose. That's because 25 pictures are simply not enough to really work with Midjourney. Another issue is with the free plan that you cannot commercially use the generated images. And of course, this is also an issue when you want to sell them on online platforms or monetize them in other ways. Those are all reasons why you will sooner or later, probably sooner, switch to one of the commercial plans of Midjourney. And now the question simply is, which one is the best? As we see here, the first option is the basic plan. That costs $8 per month. But of course, just if we pay it annually, so it's 8 times 12, which is, if I calculate it correctly now, $96. For testing Midjourney, I would recommend to use the monthly billing. So in that case, it's a little bit more expensive, $2 more expensive. So instead of $8, you will pay $10 per month. But what's included in this plan? So first, it includes around 200 pictures per month, which is around 10 pictures per dollar you are paying to this tool. Of course, it's not a lot. When you're using Midjourney, you probably will generate a lot of pictures, and most of them, most likely, most of them you will not use for commercial purposes or for any purposes. At least this plan gives you the ability to use generated images for commercial purposes. You can access the member gallery and your pictures will be displayed there. You can even buy more credits and you can have free prompts, free jobs at the same time. So you can generate free images at the same time, which will speed up your work with Midjourney significantly. That's the most basic plan for commercial users. And honestly, I believe that for most users, it's not enough. It's not included enough. I think for most, the standard plan would be a better choice. This is a $30 per month plan. If you pay monthly, the annual billing is less. It's $24 per month. I think it's a really good choice for you. Let me show you. Here you have 15 hours of fast generation. What does this mean? Well, fast generation means that when you're entering the prompt, the images will be generated within some seconds. In fact, with this plan, there's no limit for the number of images you could generate, because after using all your fast generation hours, you can still generate images with relaxed generation. The only problem now is that it takes a lot of time to generate images. The time, of course, depends on how many people use the tool at the same time. So it can easily take several minutes before you can generate a single image. And of course, this way working with Midjourney is a bit tedious. Still, in theory, you could almost create an infinite amount of images. Similar to the basic plan, in the standard plan, you can have 3 image jobs at the same time. So you can create a lot of images very quickly. But the biggest difference is that you have an unlimited amount of images you could generate in theory, and you have about 15 hours of fast generation. I really believe that for most users of Midjourney, the standard plan is the very best option you can choose. And the 15 hours of fast generation should be enough for most purposes. Of course, if you need more fast hours, you can still buy more credits for that. But of course, then it depends how many more hours you need. because you could also change to the next plan. The Pro plan, that is costing $48 per month if you're paying annually. If you're getting monthly billed, then it's even $60 per month. That's a bit expensive, and I think it would make sense if you're really using the tool for commercial purposes and if you're really a power user of the tool and needing that many hours of fast generation. You have twice as many hours of fast generation available, but you're also paying twice as much. So it's actually not the best deal you could get. However, if you're such a Midjourney Power user, it's still the best deal you can get. And for some users, 30 hours might not be enough. They would even need more hours, but there is no other plan. So in that case, they would need to buy more hours, more fast generation hours manually. So what do I recommend? Well, as a newbie, I think the best thing you can do is taking a basic plan. Pay $10 a month for 1 month and then play around with the tool, generate 200 images. And if you like the tool, after 200 images, you should know that, then you can upgrade to the standard plan. Don't stick to the basic plan. I think it's not enough for your purposes. But I think for you, probably the standard plan is enough. If you're really a power user or using Midjourney as a team, then you can, of course, think about upgrading to the Pro plan. Before we continue with this course, let's answer the question, why is it actually important to write good prompts for tools like Midjourney or ChatGPT? Well, using tools like Midjourney is not for free. As we've learned previously, if you're a new user in Midjourney, you have 20 free images and then you have to upgrade to a paid account. In the basic plan, you pay about around $10 per month. So that means per buck you can generate about 10 images. So that's still cheaper than most stock pictures. So for what you get, it's not a lot of money. But of course, the more efficient you use your prompts, the more money you can save. And there's also a component that is maybe more important than money. It's time, because generating images takes some time. And if you need to iterate your prompt several times, you quickly need 1 or more hours to generate a single picture. And of course, you want to streamline that process. You want to become more efficient and be able to generate images within some minutes. And in that case, it really makes sense for you to use Midjourney, not go to the next stock image platform. In a nutshell, becoming more efficient in prompting in Midjourney will save you some money, but it will of course save you a lot of time. And that is the main reason why you should learn that skill and why you should become a good prompter, because it's also a skill that will be needed more and more in the future. As I stated previously, the artist of the future is not somebody who is wielding a brush or painting pictures or doing something like that. No. He's somebody, or she is somebody, of course, who is able to communicate with AI tools efficiently. How can we connect Midjourney with Discord and start creating images? If you have already connected your Midjourney account with Discord, you don't need to watch this video and you can, of course, jump to the next video. But if you haven't done it yet, I will show you how to do it in the next minutes. First, if you haven't yet created a Discord account, do it now because you will need it later. On the Midjourney website, we now click on Join the Beta. That will connect Midjourney with Discord. So now we have to click and enter. So sorry, that is now the German version, but just follow the steps, the same steps in the English version, and you should be fine. Now they will verify if we are really a human and not robots. So that's the most complicated part. I hope he believes me. Let's see. And it looks as if that was successful. And you see The sailing boat in the left sidebar, that's the Midjourney server. We are connected, and you already see the first images generated by Midjourney users. If you have never used Discord before, that might look very, very confusing. So a little explanation. So here on the left sidebar, you have different chat rooms or rooms you can enter. And in the middle, you see the feed where the user-generated content is shown, but also information by the Midjourney admin team. Here, for example, are the rules you should follow when using Midjourney. I recommend reading it. I don't think it makes sense now to go through them one by one. The most should be self-explanatory, so you shouldn't be rude to other people or to the admins. And you should not create nude images or bloody, violent images. Getting started, here in this room, you have a short guide that is showing you how to start generating images in Midjourney. But if you don't want to read that guide, you can simply continue watching this video because I'm giving you a tutorial. Important for beginners, if you're a newbie, you should start using the newbie channels like newbie 29, 59, etc. because they are for new users of Midjourney, and they're like a sandbox where you can try out the features. We'll later have a look at the more advanced channels, but let's click here on the first newbie channel, and you see it's like a chat feed where users are generating images all the time. Chances are that you are surprised, like I was when I first started using Midjourney, because I was surprised that it's actually everything's in public and I'm generating images and everybody could see the images and download the images I'm creating. But before you're now stopping using Midjourney due to privacy issues, let me tell you one thing. You can later, when you have a subscription and when you're paying for Midjourney, you can later invite the Midjourney bot to a private Discord channel. And in that channel, you can create images in privacy. But as a beginner who is using Midjourney, in the free version where you have about 20 images you can generate for free, use the newbie channel and use it as a sandbox where you just learn the basics of Midjourney. And if you like the tool, then upgrade to one of the paid subscriptions, and then you can start creating images. So how do you actually start creating pictures in Midjourney? Easy. You just go to the chat box and now you enter a slash. And now you enter imagine. That's the command here. You can select it from the list, or you can also, of course, type it into the chat box. And now there's a black box opening with prompt. And here you are going to input the prompt you want to create. If I'm now entering enter, what's happening? Midjourney is giving me an error message. And why? Well, easy, because I've used all my 20 free images in that account. Of course, now I will switch to my paid account, and in that account I will show you how to create images in Midjourney. This account was just now used for showing you how to connect Midjourney with Discord. For the very beginning, I think the only important thing for you to know is that with /imagine you can start prompting. So feel free to use that command and try out several prompts on your own. Just be aware that you only have about 20 to 25 prompts available in your free account. Then you have to switch to a paid account. If you want to continue this course, of course, I recommend to upgrade to one of the paid accounts. You can do it on a monthly basis so that you don't need to pay more than $100 at once. And would recommend first testing it Midjourney, of course, with the free account, and then next stage with one of the paid accounts on a monthly basis. And then later, when you're sure about the tool, and when you really like the tool and get used to using the tool, of course, then you can switch to an annual subscription, which is a bit cheaper than the monthly subscription. How do you upgrade to a paid subscription in Midjourney? Well, after we got the error message, the Midjourney bot send us a message here. You see it in the left sidebar. There's a Midjourney bot. And if we click on that symbol, we see the messages it's sent to us. Here, yeah, your free trial has come to an end. Please subscribe. What we can do now is type in /subscribe and enter. And now we can click on the page here, and that will lead us to the subscription page on the Midjourney website. And here we see the plans that are available to us, and we will have a deeper look into the subscriptions, into the options you have now in the next video. When you're starting to generate images in Midjourney, you will likely do that in one of the public channels of Midjourney. So what are we seeing here? Well, all the images generated by all the users that are active in this channel. This is of course very confusing and annoying because you're always in this feed seeing new images generated every second, and it's difficult to find your own creations. The first thing you should do is creating your own private server on Discord. Doing this is very easy. You click on Add a Server, then on Create My Own, next for me and my friends, and now we give it a name. Let's say Midjourney Test Server. And now we click on Create. You could also add an image here. We don't do it now. And yeah, we have our server. And if you want to search for your server, you see it in this left sidebar where you have the list of all the servers you are active in or you have created. Good, this was the first step. We have our test server, but at the moment we cannot create images for Midjourney here because we need first to invite the Midjourney bot. How can we do that? Well, we have to go back to the Midjourney channel, and here we are searching for the Midjourney bot. So we are already in one of the channels. That's important. You have to go to the channels, and then in the user list on the right side, you see all the users, and there is the Midjourney bot. So let's click on the Midjourney bot, or wait maybe 1 second for clarification. You have to be in one of the public channels. So one of the channels from channel 1, 2, 3, 4 till channel 20. So in the user list of those channels, you see the Midjourney bot, you add it to server, then yeah, you select the server, here the Midjourney test server we've created before. We confirm, and yeah, that can be checked. And now we authorize it. And now we need to confirm that we are humans and not robots. Today that's not so easy. And oh, a captcha. What do we need to do? We need to select bicycles. Let's see if I can do that correctly and check it. Yeah, we are confirmed to be humans. Now we can return to the Midjourney test server, and we see here the Midjourney bot was invited successfully. Let's test this with a prompt. Imagine prompt. I want to have a picture of a Midjourney bot. Let's see. Oh yeah, he's starting to work. And that's it. So we have our private Midjourney Discord channel, and we are the only user. But of course, you could invite other users as well if you want. But there's still one privacy issue, because when the Midjourney bot has finished generating this image, the image will be shared to the public Midjourney gallery. Of course, there's some cases where you don't want this to happen. You could go to the settings. So let's enter settings, and when we enter it, we have the option stealth mode. In this mode, the images are not shared publicly. Let's do that. Let's activate the stealth mode. Oh, what's happening? The stealth mode is not included in my plan. So why is that the case? Well, I have the standard plan, but not the pro plan. And I would need to upgrade to the $60 per month pro plan to have the self mode. We see in Midjourney privacy is a matter of money. Is it worth it? Well, it depends on you. But if you don't want to pay the money, there's still an option you have. Because you could delete images again. You do that by adding a reaction and you click on the X or you type in the X in the bar. And when you do that, the image is deleted immediately. And if you want to keep the image, you can always download it to your computer before you delete it from Midjourney. This way you can make sure that you're the only one with access to the image, because when you delete the image from Discord, it will be deleted from the gallery as well. This is one option for privacy in Midjourney without paying $60 per month. I hope this was helpful for you, and the biggest takeaway of this video is how to use Midjourney in your private Discord server. That is one thing you should do immediately if you haven't done it yet, because using Midjourney in one of the public channels is really annoying and it's not fun using Midjourney this way. So if you haven't done it yet, do it now. Wie beginnen wir nun Midjourney zu benutzen? Wie schon gesagt, bei der Einrichtung des Discord-Servers kannst du Midjourney einen Befehl schicken, indem du / Imagine schreibst und dann in dieses schwarze Prompt-Kästchen deinen Textbefehl eingibst. Zum Beispiel, was wollen wir sehen? A National Geographic Picture of a Lion. Und das dauert jetzt ein paar Sekunden, bis Midjourney 4 Beispielsbilder generieren wird. Und 93%, hier siehst du den Fortschritt der Bildgenerierung. Und das kann oft dann 1 bis 2 Minuten dauern, bis es fertig generiert ist, auch wenn du im Fast Mode bist. Wenn du den Fast Mode, wenn du schon alle schnellen Stunden schon aufgebraucht hast, dann kann aber die Bildgenerierung noch weitaus länger dauern. Hier hat Midjourney jetzt 4 unterschiedliche Bilder generiert, die alle sehr realistisch ausschauen auf den ersten Blick. Man muss dazu sagen, der Befehl ist relativ kurz, das heißt, Midjourney verwendet da sehr generische Bilder. Je mehr wir spezifizieren, desto individueller wird dieses Bild natürlich. Und das zeigt dir dann auch im weiteren Verlauf dieses Kurses, wie du diesen Prompt gestalten kannst, damit du das Bild nach deinen Vorstellungen und Wünschen maßgeschneidert erstellen kannst. Aber hier für diesen kurzen Prompt haben wir jetzt mal 4 Vorschläge und wir können sagen, wir wollen zum Beispiel von diesem Bild, wo der Löwe direkt auf uns zugeht, auf die Kamera zugeht und auch der Himmel im Hintergrund ist, da wollen wir mehr Varianten sehen. Dann klicken wir auf Variante 4, weil das ist 1, 2, 3, 4. Das ist das 4. Bild in diesem Grid Mode, wie das heißt, Grid Mode. Und jetzt haben wir 4 Varianten dieses Bildes und man sieht, alle sind ein bisschen unterschiedlich, auch wenn es schon sehr ähnlich ausschaut. Das können wir weiterführen. Wir können zum Beispiel Varianten machen, 4 Varianten von der ersten Version, der zweiten Version, der dritten Version oder der 4. Version. Wenn wir jedoch sagen, okay, ich bin eigentlich sehr zufrieden mit, sagen wir, dem 2. Bild hier, dann klicken wir auf U2 oder U2 und das macht jetzt ein Upscaling dieses Bildes. Also das U steht für Upscaling und voilà, wir haben das Bild generiert. Es geht in der Version 5 schon sehr schnell und theoretisch könntest du es jetzt auf Rechtsklick speichern auf deinem Desktop. Oder wenn du es nicht speicherst, wird es in diesem Fall, in diesem Modus automatisch in deiner Galerie auf Midjourney hochgeladen in den nächsten Sekunden. Wenn du jetzt noch mehr Informationen brauchst zum Bild oder es dir speichern willst. Und das ist der Weg, wie du Bilder erstellst in Midjourney. Das ist natürlich nur sehr einfach erklärt. Das sind die Basics von Midjourney. Und es gibt natürlich noch weitere Sachen, die du machen kannst, um diesen Prompt zu verfeinern. Und natürlich gibt es hier Midjourney noch viele weitere Befehle, die du ausführen kannst. In the previous video, I've shown you how to create prompts by inputting slash and imagine. But of course, there are also tons of other commands you could input. In this video, we will have a look at those commands. So let's start with the first one here. So the first ones that are the settings. Let's click here. Let's enter. And now what's happening now? You see tons of options. For example, the Midjourney versions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We see that the 5th version is highlighted in green, so that indicates that we're using it right now. But of course, you could switch to older versions to try out and get maybe more creative results. In general, the 5th version generates the most realistic results, but some say that, for example, the 3rd version is better for creative results. Switching to an older version can make sense if you're not trying to generate photorealistic images. We will have a look at that in one of the later videos where I will compare the same prompt in different versions. Besides the 5 versions, you see there's some other versions of Midjourney as well. For example, you have the Midjourney 4 and Midjourney 5. Those modes are interesting for you if you want to generate anime-based images. We will have a look at that in one of the more advanced videos. There's also MG Test and MG Test Photo. That are modes for more photorealistic images, but now with the 5th version, I don't think that those modes are actually really important for you. In the 3rd row, we see that we have the base quality selected. Of course, you could change that as well. For example, to high quality, that could make sense if you want to create prints. In most cases, the base quality is sufficient. But of course, sometimes you want to switch to high quality. But remember, in that case, you're also using more of the fast hours. So producing images always in high quality can become costly quickly. Of course, you can also switch to low quality. In that case, you're actually not needing so much time for generating images. And that's a more efficient mode to generate a lot of images. For beginners, I think it's a really good mode for testing images. So if you want to play around with the tool and not planning to publish the results, that's probably the best mode you can use because you're not really using the fast creation time of your subscription too much. Style, here you have low, medium, high, and very high. And that says or indicates how creative your prompt will be interpreted by Midjourney. So with playing around with that option, you can heavily influence, of course, the outcome of your prompt. Of course, with some images that can make sense, with others not so much. Which options to use, that's up to you. For most cases, I would say matte or medium is the best option. And in the last row, we see that we are in the public mode. That means that our pictures are public, so everything we generate will be transferred to the public Midjourney gallery. Of course, we could switch to the stealth mode. In that case, the pictures or the images will not be transferred. I will later show you how to use that. It can make sense if you, for example, want to monetize your images or your creations and sell them on Etsy or PromptBase. You see that we have activated a remix mode. What does it mean? Well, if you remix an image, in that case, so if the mode is activated, Midjourney will ask if you want to change the prompt. Personally, I think it's useful when you're trying to create a better prompt and playing around with different commands. Because in that case, you will always do some small minor changes to the prompt before remixing. But it's not something you need to have for start prompting. Fast mode, you already know. That means that images will be generated in most cases, within 1 minute. Sometimes less, and that's the standard mode, of course. But if you want to save some fast mode hours, you can of course switch to the slow relaxed mode, because in most subscriptions you have unlimited relaxed generation time. But of course the downside is that in relaxed generation time, creating images takes a lot of time. It can be really a nuisance. So I think in most cases, you will rather buy more credits than using the relaxed mode too much. That are the settings. That's how you are adjusting the settings. But later, of course, I will also show you how you can use parameters within prompts, because with those parameters, you can adjust or set the settings for a specific prompt. For example, you can say that a specific prompt will be generated in a higher quality or in a different mode. So let's have a look at the other options or commands you can use here. Blend. What's blend? Well, with blend you can blend up to 4 different images. For example, I could upload an image of me and the second image of a landscape, and then if I blend both images, I should appear in that landscape. That's of course also something I will show you later in an advanced video. Good. What else do we have? For example, we have Ask. That's a kind of FAQ version, but to be honest, searching on Google always worked better for me than asking something inside Midjourney. Then we also have info. Here you see some information about your account. For example, what subscription I am having, the standard subscription, the job mode, which is fast, visibility mode, public, the fast time remaining. Oh, no, I have a lot of time remaining because it just updated. My lifetime usage and relaxed usage. You see, I've never used relaxed usage so far. Well, that were the most important commands you will use in Midjourney. So let's move to the next lesson and let's start generating some images. So let's start prompting. I have now inserted the prompt lion into Midjourney, and it now has generated the 4 pictures in the grid mode. When our prompt is really short, like lion, Midjourney actually doesn't know what we really want. It could be a watercolor picture, it could be a realistic picture, it even could display now a female lion. So that means short prompts normally result in 4 diverse options in the grid mode. You start customizing your prompts by adding more details. And that's now something we will do. I've already prepared some examples. So let's have a look. And let's start here. Let's assume that I want to have a photorealistic picture of a lion. In that case, it helps to add a National Geographic picture of a lion, because then you get that high quality picture that is often displayed in magazines like National Geographic. And we see Midjourney did a good job. We have 4 really realistic looking pictures of lions. And yeah, but in some cases, you actually want to do something else. For example, you would like to have, like here, an origami sculpture of a lion. Of course, there are endless options. Other options I've used, for example, were a chocolate sculpture of a lion or a marble sculpture of a lion. You could also use the styles of artists. Like here, we have used a Picasso painting of a lion in the prompt, and it generated images in the style of Picasso. Maybe I'm not art expert enough, so I'm not qualified to say if that would be a convincing Picasso. So I'm happy to hear your feedback if you're an expert. What's interesting is that we even have the signature of Picasso here in the prompt. So at least it's with the original signature. And now, yeah, another thing I did was having a Leonardo da Vinci painting of a lion, which is looking like a sketch of Leonardo da Vinci. For this example, I want to stay with the National Geographic prompt and yeah, further develop the realistic picture. And let's add some location. Let's put our lion into a Wild West town. And you see how Midjourney interpreted that command. Of course, we can use any location, for example, the Mars. But in this case, I don't think it looks so good. Maybe we would need to refine the prompt a little bit to make it blend better together. You can also change the elements and put our lion underwater, diving underwater. So the prompt now is a National Geographic picture of a lion diving underwater. And that's one of my favorite prompt ideas, to put animals underwater. It's always generating really funny results. So what else do we have? Yeah, we can actually make our lion an astronaut and make him wear a spacesuit. To be honest, I don't like how that looks in the 5th version of Midjourney. I played around with that prompt a little bit more and put the lion in a spacesuit en masse. And to be honest, the astronaut looks good. It looks as if Elon Musk has already landed on Mars, but I don't see a lion here. So that's the problem with the 5th version of Midjourney. It's generating really realistic images, but it's not so good in generating creative images of things that do not really exist. For creativity, it can pay off to switch to one of the older versions of Midjourney. For example, here is our lion astronaut in the 4th version of Midjourney. And yeah, actually it looks much better. You see a lion in a spacesuit. It's not perfect, but it's much closer to the idea I had in the beginning. And here is another version, the lion in a spacesuit. And yeah, I like that. It's of course less realistic than the 5th version, but it's much closer to the original idea I wanted to create with Midjourney. So if you wish to make your dreams become reality, it can make sense to switch back to one of the older versions. And that's something you should keep in mind when working with Midjourney. The older versions are much better for creativity, and the new 5th version, or even the coming 6th version probably, they are much better for realistic results. That are the basics of prompting. Now you should know how to create different styles in Midjourney, how to put your pictures or your objects into locations, how to add, for example, clothes or different scenarios to your idea. And that gives you a lot of possibilities. So yeah, the best now is to try it out. Yeah, think about some ideas and try and practice, yeah, put them in different places, in different locations. And in the next video, we will look how lighting can affect your images in a very dramatic way. In diesem Video will ich mit dir jetzt noch kurz über das Aspect Ratio, also das Seitenverhältnis der Bilder, reden. Hier haben wir jetzt einen Prompt eingegeben und wir sehen wieder die 4 Vorschaubilder im Grid Mode. Das ist jetzt eine moderne Villa, also ein Beispiel für moderne Architektur. Und das standardmäßige Seitenverhältnis oder Aspect Ratio in Midjourney ist eben 1:1. Also es ist immer dieses Square- oder Quadratformat, in dem die Bilder ausgespielt werden. Das ist aber in vielen Fällen natürlich nicht gewünscht. Du willst wahrscheinlich für, je nachdem, was du die Bilder brauchst, dann anderes Seitenverhältnisse haben. Social Media Fotos benötigen ein anderes Seitenverhältnis als zum Beispiel Poster, und Pinterest Grafiken und Fotos haben wiederum ein anderes Seitenverhältnis als Instagram Fotos. Das heißt, je nachdem musst du dann natürlich das jeweilige gewünschte Aspect Ratio eingeben. Und die Frage ist, die du dir jetzt wohl stellst, ist, wie mache ich das? Das ist zum Glück ganz einfach. Dazu gibt es einen Parameter. Das ist noch ein zusätzlicher Befehl, den du in den Prompt eingibst. Kopieren wir nochmal diesen Prompt und erstellen wir hier ein Imagine Prompt. Und was wir jetzt als Parameter hinzugeben, ist zweimal Minus, AR oder ER, das ist Aspect Ratio. Und nun geben wir einfach das gewünschte Seitenverhältnis ein, zum Beispiel 16:9. Das ist so eine typische Bildschirmauflösung. 16:9, und schauen wir mal, was passiert. Und das Bild ist fertig und wir sehen jetzt ein 16:9 Aspect Ratio. Natürlich kann man das auch noch anders machen, zum Beispiel sagen wir, und nun aber mit einem Aspect Ratio von 9:16, weil wir wollen jetzt kein Querformat haben, sondern ein Hochformat. Das wäre aber in der Regel besser für Porträtfotos, meistens nicht ganz so gut für Landschaftsfotos oder für Bildern von Häusern. Du kannst natürlich dann alle möglichen Seitenverhältnisse verwenden. Das musst du natürlich dann auch selbst damit herumspielen, damit experimentieren und kreativ sein. Ich werde dir im Text zu dieser Einheit auch noch einige der beliebtesten Seitenverhältnisse aufschlüsseln und die kannst du dann einfach 1:1 in deinen Prompt rein kopieren. Für dieses Video macht es aber jetzt keinen Sinn, jetzt noch alle Seitenverhältnisse durchzugehen. Wie gesagt, wenn du das nachschauen willst, dann schau am besten in diesen Text und lies nach, welche Seitenverhältnisse so in der Regel verwendet werden. Aber ich denke, es ist jetzt hoffentlich klar für dich, wie du das machst. Das ist ganz einfach mit diesem Befehl, mit diesem Parameterbefehl und damit änderst du dann eben die Seitenverhältnisse deiner erzeugten Bilder. In the previous video, we have seen different examples of our Lion prompt underwater on Mars and in a Wild West town, etc. Now I want to show you how you can use and utilize lighting to add some dramatic effects to your image. You might know the meaning of photography is actually painting with light. So the basis of every good photography is the right lighting. So lighting can definitely influence the effect of your image heavily. That is true for photographies, but of course it also plays a role in paintings like oil paintings or watercolor paintings. But of course here you might look more at the colors you're using. I will later show you how to use colors in Midjourney, but now for the beginning, let's look at some lighting effects you could use to make your images more dramatic. Here, for example, we have our National Geographic lion in a Wild West town, but with disco lighting. And disco lighting, yeah, I like that effect because it gives it a funky vibe. Normally I would use it more indoor, but even here the outdoor lighting is interesting. It gives that kind of 50s style to the image with all the neon lighting. My favorite lighting effect is cinematic lighting. And you see here you have the cinema style lighting, long dramatic shadows. And yeah, it gives your image a very dramatic look. Here's some mistake with two hats, but yeah, that can happen. But overall, I like those results. If you believe that your image is too boring, just add cinematic lighting and it will make your image way more dramatic. The best time for making photos is the sunset time. And yeah, you can add sunset lighting into your prompt and then you have that golden hour look with the setting sun in the background and long shadows, a lot of gold, and it looks beautiful in most cases. If you're a photographer, you should already know that. And yeah, even if you're new to Midjourney, using sunset lighting is something that will always make your image more beautiful and give it a really romantic touch. So yeah, feel free to use that lighting effect. Besides lighting, you can also use or add colors to your image. We have done it here, and we have the sunset lighting and with the colors blue and orange, so the typical Hollywood color scheme. It worked really well in the second picture with blue and orange. Also like the first one with blue and orange. The others, they're not so blue heavy. I think here you could reroll to get maybe better results. So let's continue. And yeah, you can have black and white, sepia, or add even more colors like red and green. But in my opinion, that doesn't look too well. I think it's a little bit too colorful. So you really have to make sure that your colors are working together and that it's not just looking like some rainbow. In my opinion, adding colors works best if you stick to one or two main colors you want to have in the prompt. If you're using too many colors, it's not looking really good. So let's roll back a little bit to black and white. Yeah, we've seen it before for some seconds. Yeah, black and white is of course also a possibility for colors or for non-colors. And yeah, it gives you that typical dramatic black and white look. Or you can also say, let's have a sepia look, so more like the brownish look on your picture. That also adds the touch of having a very old picture in front of you. I think that was popular on Instagram 10 years ago. That was a short discussion of colors and lighting in Midjourney. But before we and this lecture. Let's make another prompt. We copy that into it here. But instead of the National Geographic picture, we are now typing in an oil painting and we add some colors. Let's say, what do we want to have? Is red and green, and enter, and let's see what's going to be generated. As I told you in the beginning of this video, when you are not generating realistic photographies, but paintings like oil paintings or watercolor paintings, of course, colors play a very important role. And yeah, you should definitely try to add colors to your prompt. We have here red and green. And you see that the two colors are dominating the pictures. We have here in the grid mode. What would happen if we now add some lighting? Yeah, let's do that. Try that. Yeah, we copy the prompt and now we add cinematic lighting. And let's see how this will affect our oil painting. And you see that lighting is indeed heavily influencing the effect of the image. And now it looks way more dramatic, and you have a much more dramatic atmosphere in that image. So yeah, even with paintings, don't just add colors, but also lighting to make it more dramatic. And let's make another test with sunset lighting. Let's see how this will influence our oil painting. And you see as a result, again, that golden hour atmosphere, but it still includes the colors we have prompted, red and green. So yeah, that was the result we looked for. And that is the conclusion of our lecture. Yeah, with adding lighting and colors, you can drastically alter the atmosphere and the effect of your images. It doesn't matter if if you're creating realistic photographies or paintings or illustrations. In all cases, try to play around with lighting effects, with colors, and look how you can influence the atmosphere of your prompts, of your images with those ingredients. In the previous video, we have seen how to use lighting and colors to influence the character of the images. One thing we will dive into here is the choice of the camera, but also of the medium you're using for your images. For example, as we have seen previously, you could use an oil painting or a watercolor painting of the lion that is here walking through the Wild West town. You have already seen in the last video that you can also use the lighting for paintings, for oil paintings, like we can see here with cinematic lighting that gives a totally different character to the 4 images in that grid compared to the other oil painting we have here, where we didn't define any lighting, but only some colors, red and green to be precise. As we have discussed, colors can can define the atmosphere of your images. That's very important for, of course, paintings, but it plays also a role in photography. Before we have seen the dramatic cinematic lighting, but of course you can also use the more soft sunset lighting that creates a beautiful golden atmosphere that is really popular among photographers, but also among painters. Of course, you can let your inner artist free and use tons of different styles, artist styles like Impressionism, Expressionism. You can do a Renaissance painting, you can do Cubism. In a more advanced video, I will show you some dozens of styles I used in Midjourney, and you can use them as a template for your own prompts, of course. But let's go back to realistic photography. but because creating realistic images is a topic of high interest for a lot of people, as it seems to me. What are some things you can add to your prompt to create even more realistic photographies? The easiest way is to just add a portrait photo or photography of a lion in this case. This creates a classical portrait shot. And of course, you could also now add some emotion like an aggressive lion, and yeah, that generates a very aggressive lion. Compared to the first image grid where we have the lion relaxing in the sun, and now we have here the lion in a kind of warrior mode, a very aggressive face. So you see, adding emotion is another way to alter the effect of the image. Here I tried using depressing lion. The images, they look a little bit more depressed, more sad. Maybe it's not as striking as the first version with the aggressive emotion, but still, I think people would agree that this is a much more, not aggressive, but more depressed result. Some emotions work better than others. That is also heavily influenced by the object you're using. With the lion, of course, it's the results are better. With aggressive, with other animals, you would get probably different results, of course. So for the start, we used a very classical photography, a portrait photography. But of course, you could also go into a totally different direction. Here, for example, I tried the prompt with a 360-degree lens. And yeah, the result is not really good, to be honest. But that's because lion and 360-degree isn't really working. That's better. It would work much better for architecture, for example. So as the name suggests, the 360-degree lens, it creates an image with a 360-degree view of the scenario. And it's much better working for architecture, or like, for example, if you want to display a Wild West town. But but of course, that's something you should use for very special occasions. It's not really working for most images, for most scenarios you want to create. So architecture or interior architecture, where you want to see everything in a room, for example, that could be a good scenario for such a lens. So let's maybe go back to the portrait. And of course, you can have different kind of portraits, for example, a close-up portrait or close-up photography. Adding close-up photography to your prompt will create images with the object, the lion, in the foreground, and the background will be in the bouquet, so it will not be sharp but a little bit blurred. Pretty similar to close-up is also macro photography. Sometimes it gets you photographies that are even closer to the object. So a macro lens is a lens that's allowing you to capture highly detailed images of small subjects at a very, very close distance. Often when I'm using macro lens in the prompt, actually I'm not getting any backgrounds, but just the object, the highly detailed picture of the object in the prompt. That's not the case here, and it's probably because I was saying a running lion, and of course every word in the prompt can actually alter the outcome of your images. So of course you have to take care that you're not adding any words that contradict each other in your prompt. The opposite of macro would be something like drone photography, like here, but that's not really working with the lion in our Wild West town. I think it's not even a lion here, but some animal. And in the other image, the proportions of the lion are totally wrong. It's more like Godzilla lion. So you see, Midjourney has still some difficulties with proportions. If it's a more unusual perspective, maybe that will change in one of the newer versions in the future. Nevertheless, for some scenarios, drone photography can indeed create stunning results. You're also seeing here that our Wild West town now is a really modern town in the southwest of the US. So it's not really following the idea I had with that prompt. And you see the fifth version of Midjourney is really good in creating logical, realistic pictures, but not so good in creating more unusual creative settings. So, and to get back to macro, here we have a macro photography, but without the running lion. It's just a lion. And you see now there's less background. It's much more focused on the lion, on the head of the lion itself. So you see how adding or removing something from your prompt can really make a huge difference in the final outcome. And that is something you should keep in mind. So less is often more. So you should not include unnecessary words in your prompt. So make sure that every word in your prompt is really having an effect on the final outcome. And that's something you should test when you're creating prompts, when you're creating images, to keep your prompt clean. And it's something you can test really easily with the seeds in Midjourney because they allow you to create more consistent results. So the seeds, how to use seeds, that's something I will discuss in the advanced section of my Midjourney course. Knowing how to use seeds to create more consistent prompts and for keeping your prompts concise, that's something you should know, for example, when you're creating prompts for customers or if you want to sell prompts online. Let's continue with my examples because there's still tons of things I can show you to make your prompts even better. For example, here we have a wide angle or wide angle photography of a lion. So the wide angle lens is used when you not just want to capture the object, in that case the lion, but a wider field of view. And normally the wide angle lens can capture more than the human eye could capture. And it's a really popular lens for example, landscape photography. A striking difference to our portrait shot from the beginning is that now with the wide angle, the background is not in the bokeh. It's not blurry, but sharp. And to make sure that the object is at the eye level, you can add eye level shot to your prompt. So that makes sure that the object is really at the eye level. But in most cases, Midjourney creates pictures like that. It's more a challenge to have it not at the eye level. We will see in the next examples. For example, you could want to have a shot from the ground. In that case, you add ground level shot. But Midjourney often cannot or doesn't interpret that correctly. So it can have to say extreme ground level shot to make it even clearer. Because that phrase helps Midjourney interpret that more correctly. A variation of ground level is the low level shot, like we have seen here. You can also combine both phrases into one shot, and you see low level is actually generating good results. I like them a lot. That picture is really good, and we even have a very aggressive lion. The opposite of low angle is high angle shot. It worked very well with humans, but not so much with the lion. We have the same effect like with the drone photography. So the proportions are off and the lion is just too big. It's not really creating realistic results. So high angle didn't work in that case, but I managed to do it a bit by saying a shot from 2 meters high that created better results. But to be honest, it didn't really convince me. With some other scenarios, it worked better. So you see, when you try to add angles, it's a lot of trial and error till you get the correct results. Most photographers in reality wouldn't shoot a picture of a lion from close-up, but would rather use a tele lens. So using the term tele lens in your prompt will create the safari look you may be used to when seeing lion pictures. If you're a photographer, you will love the following. You can actually add lens details. For example, you can say a 20mm lens, and Midjourney will create images that represent images shot from a 20mm lens, which is a classical wide angle lens. You can also say 100mm, that's more a portrait lens and will create more, normally should create a more portrait-like image compared to the wide angle lens. But you can even get more nerdier and say, I want to have an image shot from a Sony Alpha camera with a 85mm lens and a focal length of 1.8. And Midjourney is really good at interpreting the camera details and lens details. And you see the focal length of 1.8 normally creates images with a nice bokeh. And if you want to have that, you should add that to your prompt. So you can go both ways. You can either say, I want to have a portrait or I want to have a bouquet, or you can just add the camera details and Midjourney will interpret it in most cases correctly. One thing I love about Midjourney is that you can let your inner camera nerd out and, for example, create retro pictures, for example, Polaroid photography, which creates this 80s or 90s look. And the funny thing is that those are the most convincing AI pictures because the quality of a real Polaroid is low. So it's hard to tell if you have now an AI Polaroid or the real deal, because the real Polaroids also have artifacts and look a bit strange and artificial. So the Kodak 800 film. So if you don't want to create a digital image, but a film photography, so if you want to create that with AI, you can do that as well and fake create classical film photography like it was popular in the 90s or early 2000s before the rise of the digital cameras. Here's an example of extreme bokeh. So as you know, you can either use the camera details or simply say bokeh or some other things you want to have in your picture, or you can use both and that make the command even stronger and make it clearer to Midjourney what you want to have. So sometimes that helps to get the desired effect of the image you want to create. So yeah, play around with that and use all the options you have available. But of course, don't lengthen your prompt in an unnecessary way. If you repeat commands in different words, only do that to make the desired effect stronger. So we had a Sony Alpha and here's a Nikon D850, and you see we kept the settings but changed the camera model, and yeah, the images look different. I'm not maybe expert enough to say if that was really the Nikon look or the Sony Alpha look. So if you're an expert in that realm, of course I appreciate your feedback and you please tell me how good Midjourney can distinguish between different camera models. So one of the last examples is the satellite image. Well, in fact, it looks more like an image from an airplane, so not from a real satellite. And yeah, we have the same issues like with the drone photography. It's not really the Wild West town. It looks more like a modern town in the southwest of the USA. But yeah, satellite images can work great for landscape photography. So if you want to have the kind of satellite look of a certain landscape, of a certain region, then that looks nice. And yeah, like with the drone photography, the proportion, of course, if you insert a line, they're not really working. But yeah, satellite images, they're not meant to be used with something like portrait shots or with objects that are visible to the human eyes, but more to have a look of a certain landscape or maybe structures from high above. So that was my introduction into camera settings in Midjourney, and what you should have learned in that lesson is that you can actually use any camera setting to create the desired results. Sometimes the camera angles don't work so well, then maybe you have to repeat some commands in different ways to make it more clear for Midjourney. The awesome thing is that you can actually use any camera settings. So if you in the past could not afford expensive camera equipment, now you can use that equipment in Midjourney and shoot the pictures you always wanted to shoot with AI just for $20 per month. So far in this course, we have seen and learned how to create prompts for Midjourney and how to improve the quality of your prompts so that you can eventually make money with Midjourney. Ideally, you have already generated several hundred pictures with Midjourney, and if you're at that stage, probably the following question will occur: how can I access my old creations? Well, that's easy. First, you have Discord. And of course, in your Discord server, you could now scroll back and try to finding the old pictures you have created. but that's not the best way to access them. And in theory, you could also use a Discord search function to find old images. But to be honest, I don't think the Discord is the best place for finding images you have created there. So what's the best way to access your old pictures? Well, simply go to the website of Midjourney. That's midjourney.com/account. When you enter that link into your browser, you will access your home screen, and here you have a gallery of all the images you have created so far. And you have different categories. For example, you have hot, then you have new, top, and your top images, and you have favorited, so images you have favorited. And important, you are now in the upscale mode, so you see only upscaled images and not the grid mode. If you want to see the grid, you have to click on grid. And now all the grids you have created and a click at all will show you all images upscaled and the grid mode. And you see a whole collection. But in most cases, you will probably search for upscaled images, not for images in grid mode or not in old. Searching them is maybe too confusing, but you want to have images you already upscaled in the past. I will now show you how to favorite an image. In that way you can find your best images easier. So let's choose one of my photography prompts here. And now all we need to do is click on the heart symbol here, and voila, the image is favorited. It appears here among the favorites. As before, you can, among the favorited pictures, you can select just the upscale pictures, or you can say, I want to see all the pictures, grid mode and upscaled. This way you can easily find your old pictures and the best pictures you've created, because they should be among your favorites. But you can also explore images from others by clicking on Explore. That's the community feed, and you see the creations from other users, and that can serve as a huge inspiration for you. You see what is possible with Midjourney because you see tons of ideas. And if you click on an image, we see the prompt that was used for that image, and we can copy the prompt or the full command and repurpose that for our own prompts, of course. So if you want to become better in prompting, I highly recommend checking out that feed regularly, so you can look at hot or rising. You can also see, for example, or click on new images, but normally the quality of those is not so high because that are just the new creations in Midjourney. So hot and rising normally has the high quality pictures, and of course top is also something worth checking out. In this video, I will show you how to use seed numbers in Midjourney to create more consistent prompts. So your first question might be, what are seed numbers and how can I use them in Midjourney? Midjourney uses seed numbers to create a field of visual noise, like you might know from television static. And that field is serving as a starting point to generate the initial image grids. For each image, Midjourney is generating a random seed number, and you can enter it into your prompt by saying ---- seed and then followed by the number, or ---- same seed and then followed again by the number. So if the prompt text stays the same and you enter a seed number, the resulting image will be the same again. But why is that even important, you might ask now? Well, let's imagine that we are inputting a prompt, a very simple prompt, let's say Mickey Mouse. And we entered once and then we entered a second time. But the second time, the generated image will be different because Midjourney will interpret the prompt a little bit different every time you entered again. To generate the same image again, you would need the seed number. But now you ask maybe, why do I even want to generate the same image again? I want to generate different images each time. Well, in fact, if you're writing more complex prompts, you actually want to experiment with your prompt text. You want to see what's happening with my image if I add a word, or what's happening if I'm removing a word. And for seeing the effects of your changes, you would like, or you want to have more consistent prompts, of course. Because entering the same prompt again with the seed number is the only way to secure or to make sure that you will generate the same image again. And it makes sure that when you're altering the image or the prompt, the resulting image will not be too different from the first image you have created. Because your results are more consistent, you can test the impact of small changes to your prompt. This becomes very important when you're starting to write more complex prompts, or, for example, if you're entering the field of prompt engineering. Okay, that's the theory. Let's move to the more practical part of that video. And your first question is probably, where do I get the seed number of my images? For this, we are going to Discord again, and I have prepared a picture or an image. That's an image of Walter White in a retro fantasy setting from the 80s. Now we are going to make some small changes to the prompt and see how much that will affect the generated image. But first we need to get the seed number. How do we get it? Well, we need to add a reaction, and we click here, the right top, and we need to click on the envelope or enter envelope if the envelope emoji is not appearing here in the selection list. And now we click enter, and yeah, that worked. Now the Midjourney bot messaged us, and we see the message in the left sidebar here on top, Midjourney bot. Let's click here. Yeah, now that's the message of the bot, and we have the job ID and the seed number. Let's copy that, and now we can go back to our private server. And that's it. That's how you find out the seed number of your images. Important, you cannot do that with other users' images. If you want to find out the seed number of an image that was generated by another user, you have to politely ask that user. That's, at least for the moment, the only way to do that. Okay, now we know how to get the seed number, but now I'm going to show you what you can do with that seed number. As I told you before, I want to make some changes to the original prompt. So let's type in imagine and copy the prompt with the seed number we got before. Okay, let's change some small detail. Maybe we can change the color of the cloak from yellow to, what do we type in here? Maybe, what is with green? Let's have a green cloak and enter. Let's see what's happening. And the image is generated, and yeah, we see that there are indeed some changes to the original compared to the original composition of the image. So there are indeed more changes than just the color of the cloak. So for example, we have the background that is different, and even the character, even Walter White in the foreground, looks a little bit different. Okay, let's continue with our experiment. And let's see if we can remove some words of our prompt or from our prompt. So maybe we can remove words like retro and cheap. And let's enter and see what's happening. And here's our image. And we see that the overall atmosphere is actually not so different from our original, here it is, from our original image. Of course, it's a little bit different, but it seems that both words, cheap and retro, didn't influence the atmosphere in a strong way. So as a conclusion, we can easily delete them or replace them with words that maybe influence the image or the prompt stronger. But what is important to point out here is that as soon as we make a small change to the prompt, the image will change as a whole. So we are not going to get the same image just with a minor detail changed, like the color of the cloak or the atmosphere of the lighting. No, every minor change will trigger Midjourney to interpret the image in a different way. Let's do another experiment. I will now copy the prompt and I will enter the prompt once without seed number and once with seed number. Oh, no, that's correct. And a second time. But first the seed number, and now we're ready. Let's see what Midjourney will do now. And I think that's something I should stress maybe even more, because as soon as you change something in the prompt, you will not get a totally consistent result. It's just if you enter the seed number, your result will be more consistent. Okay, now we got our two images. That's with seed number, and we see it's pretty similar to the original image. I think it's exact the same. And now we have the new, or the other one without seed number, and we see it's a totally new interpretation of the prompt. So the takeaway of this lesson is that using the seed number will not lead to identical results if you make minor changes to the image, but it will lead to a bit more consistency, because without seed number, the changes would be much more severe. So using the seed number is helping you to get more consistent results in Midjourney. Of course, normally you're not going to create identical pictures or images again with the same prompt, because that's more or less unnecessary. If you want to go back to your image or to a generated image, you would simply go to the gallery and then download it. But of course, in many cases, you want to do some minor changes to your prompt. And in that case, it makes a lot of sense to use seed numbers to have at least some consistency in Midjourney. In this video, I will show you 34 styles you can use for your prompts in Midjourney. To make the comparison easier, I will always use the same prompt and only change the style at the beginning of each prompt. Okay, ready? Then let's start the music, and after watching the video, tell me One of the most interesting things you can do in Midjourney is to create images in the style of a specific artist. So you can use painters like Leonardo da Vinci, or you can also use photographers like Helmut Newton, or even film directors like Stanley Kubrick. And Midjourney will create images in the style of that specific artist. For this video, I've created a prompt with a cultural icon with Mickey Mouse, and wanted to see how Midjourney would interpret Mickey Mouse in the style of different artists. To make the prompt more comparable, I always use the same prompt and just change the artist's name in the beginning of the prompt. The only exception was with the directors. Here I had to say Mickey Mouse as the character in, for example, Stanley Kubrick movie, because Mickey Mouse in the style of Stanley Kubrick didn't generate convincing results. So without further ado, let's see my examples, and after watching the video, please tell me which of them